Dale Steyn, one of the greatest bowlers of all time. South Africa's best ever seamer. I would even go as far as saying, not to peeve any English people off, the greatest seamer of all time. Dale Steyn brings back a lot of memories for myself because coming into the industry as a young journalist, one of the first guys that I was given the opportunity to interview was Dale Steyn from the Proteas setup. And it happened only in a situation where I didn't think that I would get the opportunity to do so, and that was in the first MSL. And I'm talking now face-to-face exclusive interviews. Dale was excellent to speak to. He was a true gentleman. He was open and honest. He showed a unbelievable sensitivity to the youngsters that were around him, and seemed very eager to give advice to other young cricketers out there. And ultimately, we know what his personality is like by him leaving his heart on his sleeve and leaving his heart on the field every single time he plays a cricket match for South Africa. And I think that's the thing that stands out to me the most about Dale Steyn. It's his passion, the fiery nature, the competitive spirit, and the consistency over time. And for him to do it in such a short space of time too, to get so many wickets in such a short space of time, that elevates him as a cricketer in my eyes. We can look at his test record of 93 matches, 439 wickets. His ODI record of 125 matches, 196 wickets. His T20I record of 47 matches, 64 wickets. And his IPL record of 95 matches, 97 wickets. And we can look at it in awe. And we can drop our jaws in awe and in amazement at the achievements that he's given us. But he's not only an inspiration as a sportsman. The way he lives his life, the way he is as a person, the way he's helped youngsters around him, wherever he's went to, you can see the amazing tributes from all his teammates. That's when you get to know what a true person someone like Dale Steyn is. Now, we're going to be giving our tributes on the show tonight. The panel will have their say about Dale, and that's how we're going to start off the show. But then as well, we'll go into the preview of today, which is against Sri Lanka, and it's tour in Sri Lanka, the ODIs, etc. That's something that we really, really need to speak about as well. So, guys, let's start with this. It's another live show. We haven't had a live show like this in a long time, and we're really excited to get this started. So click subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos, and let's get straight into today's content. Let's do this. Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine, and this is your preview show. I'm your host Khalid. This is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with the game between South Africa, or the series between South Africa and Sri Lanka, the ODI series, which will be taking place and starting on Thursday. But to kick this off, something very interesting happened, or something very sad to some. Other people will be very nostalgic about it. Some people will feel sadness about it. Some people might feel some sort of, happiness because they got to see someone so great in their time. I'm going to go around the room. Let's speak about Dale Steyn. I would like to know what you guys have to say. I mean, let's start with Aditya, go to Mpo, and then we end off with Werner. Let's have a discussion about Dale. I would like to hear what your memories were of Dale Steyn.
My first memory of Dale Steyn was probably in 2006 when South Africa was touring India, and on a Sunday afternoon, I had this newspaper in front of me. It had Dale Steyn's picture, and at the time, before social media and before the extensive television sort of access that we have now. There was this mystery about Dale Steyn because at that point we probably hadn't seen as much footage of him, you know, and because South Africa had always produced these exciting fast bowlers, somehow just looking at that picture, I remember having this conversation, with people and saying that, what, this guy is going to wreak havoc. And he did that, over a consistent period of time. Of course, in that first game in Chennai, I think Virendra Sehwag scored a triple hundred. So there was not much that he could do there. But I remember following Dale Steyn over the years, and generally in India we tend to romanticize our batsmen. We love watching batters, but there's something about Dale Steyn where you just feel like you cannot take your eyes off Dale Steyn. And possibly my favorite memory of his was the New Year Test in 2011, where between India and South Africa, where Dale Steyn and Mone Mokal were bowling in partnership to Sachin Tendulkar and Gautam Gambhir, and the wicket was spicy. Dale Steyn was on point. He was bowling to Sachin. Mone Mokal was bowling to Gautam Gambhir. And there was this period in the morning session where they did not rotate strike for 56 minutes. It was possibly the most captivating Test match cricket I have ever seen. And I don't think I'll ever forget it. But, I hope Dale Steyn sort of continues his journey in cricket and possibly takes up mentorship or coaching at some level. We'd love to see
Yeah,
him.
definitely. And Paul, Werner, and then Ravi.
Look, I think for me, when obviously everyone said Dale retired, I was like, okay, look, it's about time. He served the country well. Started playing in 2003 for the country. He was raw at that time. It was just all pace. But as his career went, he added so many dimensions to his game, to the point where he even conquered what seemingly many people would think was the unconquerable. That 7 for 29 in Nagpur will always is the first thing everyone goes to. But Dale traveled around the world and he dominated batsmen for the time that he was playing for the national team. Had he been born in the UK, he probably would have still been playing international cricket. He probably would have gotten more wickets than Jimmy Anderson. Well, the average tells you that. The strike rate tells you that. Even the average tells you that. But I think for me, there was a day, I think we're playing the West Indies, and I think it was a test match at Centurion, and we'd even lost. I think West Indies were 3 down on that day. It was like day 4. We'd even lost the first session because Dale just cleaned them out. They took 5 wickets. And guys were coming in, and the game was over. The day was over in like 45 minutes because Dale had these periods where whenever South Africa needed a wicket, any captain, Hash, AB, Faf, Graham, would always look to him, throw the ball, and you knew something was going to happen. You knew he was going to do something. And he was a game changer. He was a game breaker. And throughout his career, probably he was one of the best cricketers in the world. At the time, I know this is a batsman's game, but if you needed to look at that 2012, 2011, 2012 Proteas team, yes, you had Hash, you had Jacques Callis, but Dale Steyn was a game breaker. He was that guy, and his impact was as much valuable as those batsmen that I've named. I can't get over what happened at Newlands with Australia in Vern's debut test, and Dale was there too, hooping the ball around with Vern, putting Australia under incredible pressure. It could only have happened with those two. But yes, Vern was there, but Dale just also added what he wanted, added his thing. Travels to there's so many wickets of Dale where you're like, wow, dude, I don't know how you did that, but you did it. And so I'm really grateful that his career. Well, I would have loved to have a testimonial, but based on how testimonials go, we don't want another T20 in a soccer stadium to say goodbye to a legend. So I'm happy that that it's over like this. And it's one of those things where thanks for the memories. His aggression was just amazing, and it was controlled aggression. And South Africa's greatest ever seamer. You can fight me if you think it's Alan Donald. I'll give you my address. And yeah, like unbelievable servant of the game, of the country, actually.
Yeah, what an unbelievable guy. Always with those crazy eyes and that chainsaw celebrations. And off the field, he's calm as anyone else. You think, wait, is this the same guy who was just on the field staring down the batsman? And then suddenly he's all calm afterwards, talking to the commentators. You're thinking, was this really the same guy? So my first memory was probably 2004. Steyn just running in, ripping at the under the 50, putting it all over the place. I'm thinking, yeah, they probably put him in a bit too quickly. He needed some more time in first class cricket before he should have come on the scene. And then like the next over, you come in and ripped Michael Vaughan's stump out. I'm like, okay, never mind. Let's keep with this guy. Let's just roll with this. He can be wayward. It's fine. We have Pollock on the other side who can keep things tight. Let him go wild. I think I enjoyed his battles with Australia the most because I've always had this grudge against Australia. I think a lot of South Africans like that. We don't really like Australia all that much. And anytime he came in and he dominated the Aussies, I enjoyed it very much. I remember his spell against Pakistan, getting like 6 for 9, something like that in South Africa. Also, it was such a period with him and Philander and Morkel where they were bowling out Pakistan for 40 odd, bowling out Australia for 40 odd, bowling out New Zealand, I think, as well in the 40s. It was a crazy period between like 2011 and 2014 that no team wanted to play against us. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed, he just made everyone his bunny. I remember Mohammad Hafiz being unable to play him at all. Jonathan Trott, Martin Guptill. I think there's a few batsmen who will sleep a lot more peacefully now that he's not playing anymore. So yeah, no, it's too many memories to really to talk about in one sitting. I think the last one that really stands out is that partnership we had with Duminy in Australia. That 76 he got his best score. We were like 250 odd for 7 or for 8, I can't remember exactly. Still more than 100 runs behind, and then suddenly he buckled down with Duminy and got a 180 run partnership. And the next thing you knew, we were in the lead, and we went on to win that test match in the series. So yeah, great memories.
Can you hear me? I can't hear a single thing.
We can hear you perfectly.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we're all on mute. That's why.
Oh my God, sorry, man. It's been a while. Yeah, very. I think it was time. I agree with them, Paul. I agree with the rest of the panel. I think Dale made the right call for his career as well. I think it's about looking at the next steps. Where does he succeed? Is he going more the coaching side or commentary? I'm not even sure. It's hard to say at this point. But I think one of my fondest memories, and it resulted in me missing a bus connecting, where were we? Austria. We were going from Austria to Germany, and I missed a bus because I was watching. We were in this lovely, slightly dodgy Irish pub in Austria, and we were watching Duminy on just over. I think he just got his 100, and Steyn was batting as well, and he was just smashing the Aussies all over the park. And while there were so many fifers that were absolutely memorable, and it was nice to see a duel of bat and ball with the world's elite batsmen, for me that was one of the most standout performances that tells you everything you need to know about the man. He always played for his country, he always played for his badge, and he played with so much pride. And the chips were down. The Aussies were giving us some. There was lots of Australians on that Euro trip that I was on in Austria, and it was very, very traumatizing until I got to see a bit of JP Duminy show his magic, and obviously Steyn played a vital role there as well. Steyn, for me, brought some significant life back to the bowling attack. I think we saw an emergence of Morne Morkel in that period as well. We saw Vern coming in around about 2011. I feel that Dale Steyn's highly aggressive bowling style, and some may say he mimicked Alan Donald, but I would say Steyn is by far the more aggressive bowler. Not bad for the guy that's about 1.76 meters or so. But I would say he brought that aggression back into the South African bowling side of things, and it certainly shaped the way in which we played all formats of the game, especially in Test cricket. I found that there was a lull where the bowlers weren't really as aggressive or really getting into the face of the batsman. I think Steyn played a vital role or pivotal role in that respect. Wish him well on his future endeavors, and hopefully we'll bump into him at my favorite Nando's in Cape Town again.
Yeah, and let's not forget that he ruled the ICC Test rankings for 6 consecutive years from 2010 to 2015. So excellent ability. Amazing man, amazing cricketer. Thanks a lot, Dale Steyn. And we'll always remember you as a South African cricket fan base. And I think the whole world will also remember you forever.
And he played 48 Test matches on the trot. We shouldn't forget that.
Yeah, should also not forget that. Okay, so let's get into the preview. Guys, next thing is the preview of the ODI series between South Africa and Sri Lanka. We kick off on Thursday with the first ODI, 11 South African Standard Time. For the guys that don't know, that's what's going to happen. As I see transfer news breaking over here, that's breaking my heart. But okay, let's move on from that. Let's talk about ODIs, the ODI series, and what we can expect from the ODI series. First and foremost, let's start with selection. I think that's probably where most people want to go into, and let's get that out of the way first and foremost. We had a brief discussion about how we want to face things in Sri Lanka. Myself, Paul, Aditya, and Werner. Okay, Ravi, you weren't there for that one, but we'd like to get your thoughts first and foremost, because I think we all have been anonymously agreeing with each other on who you want to see in the lineup. So let's get maybe some left field understanding of who would you like to see. I'll put up the squad for you so that you can have a look, because updated squad.
Please do. It has been a while.
Yeah. So here's the squad for you. The only change that happened from the original squad was Junior Dala going out and Luto Sapamla coming into the side. So this is the squad that we have available for Sri Lanka for the first ODI and the ODI series.
Random point. I learned something crazy about Junior Dala. Apparently he contracted COVID 3 times in a row. I might be mistaken about that.
Yes, he did.
My goodness.
But he's with the Titans now, which is weird. Why is not in Sri Lanka?
Wow.
But, yeah.
I think it's because also they have to isolate for a certain period after they have it before they can travel to Sri Lanka. That's Sri Lanka's rules. So that was part of, and that's why Charles Langeveld is also like he has to wait a little bit before he can actually go. So that's the current situation, which is Sri Lanka's rules for COVID-19. If you have been positive. So Ravi, what's your thoughts? Let's start with that batting lineup, because I think the bowlers almost pick themselves in a way, but there might be a couple of left field and right field guys that you maybe want to see play. Depends on how you want to approach it.
I actually wanted to start with the bowlers, because I agree it might seem easy at first, but at first I thought that they may prepare a slightly flat deck for if we're talking ODIs and T20s. I don't think there'll be that much purchase for the spinners. There's not going to be sort of wild spin, if you will, or rippers, if you will. So more than likely, you might have a situation where South Africa would have to choose, either to go in with one spinner or possibly two. It's hard to say. But I think George Linder pretty much has been a standout guy, and obviously Tabrez as well. They've been incredible. Linder offers quite a bit with the bat as well. I'd like to see more of Luto Sapamla as well with ball in hand. And I think Adile has just re-emerged back into the national selection, into the national team and lineup overall. And I'd like to see more of Andile with ball in hand, at least let him finish his full quota of overs. And then coming back to the batting, I think Kyle Verreynne, I would love to see more of him. I know, Khalid, you are the president of the Kyle Verreynne fan club. Look, the one thing I'd have to say is that, what we saw in the West Indies wasn't an accurate reflection of what he's capable of. And I'd like to see more of him during this tour of Sri Lanka, at least. Yanaman Malan as well as an opener, absolutely, we need to give him a go. Aiden Markram, I wouldn't dispute that the two of them should open together with the interchanging role between Riza and Yanaman as a possibility. And then the guy that's definitely going to remain in my batting lineup, no matter how many times they rotate the squad, is definitely going to be Rassie van der Dussen, without question. Rassie's proven his ability with bat in hand for the last 2.5 years or so, and he's proven to be a wonderful asset in the ODI squad.
Cool. That gives us a perfect summary. I think a lot of us have actually said shared the sentiments that Ravi is sharing with us. Ultimately, I think Dwayne Pretoria is obviously a standout guy that we probably want to see now because he's been out of the side for so long. My concern, the only concern I have currently, is whether we'll get to see cricket. Because according to the weather reports, it's going to be very warm there, 28 degrees Celsius, but the precipitation is going to be 80%. So the rain is going to be a big part of this particular tour, which is unfortunate. Hopefully that it changes around. Weather you never really know. But so far the weather report is 80% at the moment. So for rain. So unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with that as best as possible. I hope that we get to see cricket. I hope I'm not sitting there from 11 o'clock till 4 o'clock waiting for a 20-over game. So I hope that they get some cricket on the ball, etc. And so we get some cricket for the guys. Let's go into some tactical decisions. If there is a game, and what sort of style of cricket would you like to see from South Africa? Let's start with that.
So I think when you do tactics, you look at your opponents and obviously the conditions. Your opponents are gonna give you a trial by spin. It's gonna be Hasaranga, Jawakrama, who's an off spinner, and they're also gonna give you Akila Dhananjaya, who if you've watched ever South Africa versus Sri Lanka, it's always been Akila Dhananjaya. He's been quite good. And that's what it is. We're going to be testing. Both teams are going to be testing batting. South Africa is going to be trying to figure out how they're going to navigate those three spinners, plus a Dhananjaya De Silva, who probably will be their all-rounder. They've got two seamers alongside Dasun Shanaka, who I'm not. It will probably be Karunaratne, and I don't know. I think it's Chamira. So we've seen Chamira before. We haven't seen Karunaratne, so there might be some little things that might happen there, but I don't see a problem with the seamers there. However, from a South African perspective, I do think they're going to throw Kagiso and Anrich at them. I do think you need to do that because if you look at the Sri Lanka team, there's no Mendes, there's no Kusal Mendes, there's no Gunatilaka, there's no the other bio-bubble person who's been banned for a year. All three of them banned for a year. There's no Angelo Matthews.
Niroshan Dikwela, I think.
Yes, Niroshan Dikwela is not there. You don't have Angelo Matthews. You literally it's a team with 6 guys we've never seen. The 3, 4, and 5 are guys we've never seen before. Aditya's seen them because they played against India, and they're all trying to find their way. They're trying to find their feet in international cricket. So the thing would be go with pace. So go 4-seam pace attack essentially with 2 all-rounders and Anrich and Kagiso, or Anrich and Lazard, or whatever combination you wanna do there. But you wanna go at them with guys who can bowl above 140 consistently, so they can test that because they don't have that in Sri Lanka. So I think for me, it's going to be that's where it's going to fall down. You'll have your 2 spinners. I'd like to see a third, but I don't think we'll get there. But I do think it's going to be that battle. I do also think that South Africa is slightly stronger than them across both departments, but obviously from a spinning perspective, the bowling department, I think, is a little bit more equal. But you just South Africa want to put them under pressure. If you put them under pressure, low scoring games, you can come out with easy wins on the other end. But yeah, I think it's going to be that way. It won't be. If Sri Lanka's batting lineup was a little bit better, I would have gone in with another spinner. But I do think a team like this, that's trying to find its feet, they've also had off-field issues. You might as well go with Heinrich and Kagiso and try to break them open in the first 10 overs.
Ditya, it's time for the batsmen that haven't been performing consistently to step up now. We would like to see the likes of Aiden, if he does play in the first one. If it's between him and Riza, we'll have to wait and see who's going to open the batting. But we would like to see a guy like Timba get some runs on the board, get some momentum leading into the T20 series. I'm sure you'd like to see a guy like Rassie van der Dussen continue his form. But from my perspective, and Aditya, I want to get your words on this and your insight on this, because I want to see a clinical or clear plan by South Africa going into this game. I want to see them try to execute a certain way and not just be. Sometimes I've seen them in the past where they're just like searching or stretching for things, or really searching for runs and stretching for a certain identity rather than actually coming there with a game plan that we can see, okay, they've tried to do this, it either worked or it didn't work. I don't want to see this crazy Tasmanian devil type cricket where it's just all over the place and we don't know where they're going or where they're heading. So what's your thoughts on this? The batsmen that you really think need to really step up and who needs it more?
Right. So in Dwayne Pretorius's interview, he said that we're planning for 150, 160 in the T20s. Similarly, I hope that the ODI group also has a similar plan when they assess a wicket. And they say that, perhaps 270 is a winning target here. 280 is a winning target here. Let's try to form a game plan and get there. Because this is not going to be the sort of series where 350 or 370 will be scored regularly. I don't think that's going to happen. And in addition to that, one thing that I hope the batters plan for is a reasonable strike rate. Again, this is not going to be the sort of series where a batter will be able to strike at 140 or 150. So, if they're going at, 85 or 90, that's fine. They don't need to put additional pressure on themselves to score faster. It's better to go with a collective game plan that gets you to a formidable target rather than trying to accelerate and, falling short of that target. But with respect to specific batsmen, again, I'm going to say what I said before the Ireland series. The series is incredibly important for Aiden Markram and Themba Bavuma. Aiden Markram is still trying to find his feet in the ODI game. And we know that he has the skill, he has the talent. If he can find a game plan that works for him, we'd really like to see him succeed. Themba Bavuma at number 3, crucial. He needs to be churning out the big hundreds. We need more consistency for him. 40s and 50s aren't going to cut it. He's going to have to go to the 130s and 140s. And it is possible. If there's anyone in the team who can score big runs, it's got to be in the top 4. So definitely the onus is on Aiden Markram and Themba Bavuma to really step up this time.
And Werner, from your perspective, I know that from the bowling side of things, are you more in the camp of seeing our best bowlers have a go to win this, to have a go at them, and like Umpo suggested, that we just go after them? Or do you want to see maybe someone like a Lazard Williams maybe get an opportunity as a seamer instead of maybe a KG and a Andy?
I think we can probably play all three of them. I think we do need to go with pretty much our best possible team, seeing as we are behind on the Super League points, and this is a very important important series for us. But I think we could probably fit in all three if we want to, and then maybe rest one of Rabada or Norkia in games later in the series. But yeah, so I would love to see Williams play as well. I think he does have something about him, and I think he deserves to have a longer run and get his opportunity to show what he can do. And as far as the batting is concerned, I think it will be a very important tour for Malan, especially. He's shown what he can do on good surfaces, pace coming onto the bat, but it will be interesting to see how he navigates the spin through the middle overs if he does get himself set. Obviously, it's going to be the big challenge for all our batsmen, as we have had a lot of problems against spin in the past. But I think for Malan especially, I know we've talked about Malan and Markram. Markram obviously he needs to score big runs in ODIs that he still hasn't done after what's now 31 matches. I think his time is probably running out in this format. Which is a shame because obviously he's done well in tests. He's now found his groove in T20, so he needs to find that middle ground between the 2 for the ODIs. Give himself enough time, not feel after he's faced 5 dot balls he suddenly needs to hit a 6 to get himself going. But yeah, so as far as the bowling, I think we can probably fit all 3 of those guys in. I might maybe have Pretorius at 6, Linda at 7, and then you can have Rabada, Norkia, Williams, and Shamsi possibly at the back end, dependent on what maybe we want to go with 2 all-rounders, maybe fit Pechelquayo or Mulder in there as well, and then we can play 2 out of the 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get to that time when we coming towards the end of the show. Let's get the predictions in. Ravi, we start with you, then Mpo, then Verna, and then we end off with Aditya. What are your predictions, and what are you hoping for in this particular ODI series?
Yes, I think Mpo brought up a very good point in that all your veterans, all your stalwarts won't be made available for selection this time around. So it certainly does lean towards South Africa's favor in that instance. I would say that the weather is going to be quite prevalent. It's going to be a huge, it's going to have a huge impact on the series. I would agree with you, Khalid, on your earlier point. I think South Africa overall will sneak in a way. Are we doing predictions just for ODIs or T20s as well?
Just for ODIs. We'll do a preview for the T20 series as well.
Okay. So I think South Africa might just sneak in with the series win over there. I would give one game to the way of Sri Lanka as well.
Okay, Paul.
Look, I think it depends on. I think if we lose the toss and they put us into bat first, we might find ourselves in trouble. Because if there's some sort of a batting collapse, because if you look at the India series, it was the highest score was 270 in the ODIs. So we're not going to get to 300. You kind of need to keep wickets towards the back end and try fight through those middle overs. And we're going to score very slowly at 4 runs and over. However, if you lose wickets in clumps, you're going to find yourself in trouble, especially with the spin bowlers that Sri Lanka have. They've also got this other youngster, Pulina Taranga, who they had a domestic season tournament just before where all the best players in Sri Lanka played for 4 teams. It's kind of like a WSL, and he took all the wickets there. And he's a wrist spinner, and we might not see him, but if South Africa have a batting collapse, we might. Because I kind of think if South Africa find themselves in trouble, they'll go heavy on spin. So, but I do think South Africa have it in them to win 2-1. But I do think it will go to a decider, and the third ODI is going to be key. And if South Africa are bat first in that third ODI, they might find themselves in trouble. You need to win the toss. You need to bat first. You need to put the opposition under pressure with your bowling, because both sides are good. Have better bowling attacks than batting lineups. And if you do that, whoever puts them under pressure in the first innings will probably win the game on the back end. And so I think for me, that's where it's going to go. That's where it's going to fall. So I do think South Africa will do that. I just hope Timber's got his lucky charm so he can win the toss and put them into bat, because I think that's how we're going to win this.
I'll go 1-1-1. One for us, one for Sri Lanka, one for the rain. I think there might be one game that washes out the way it has gone in Sri Lanka in the past. Somebody I didn't talk about that I'm looking forward to seeing is Chamira. He's been bowling with quite some good speed over the last while. I see he also got a place at RCB for the second of the IPL, and it should be good to see. He might surprise one of two of our batsmen.
Mm.
So I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes.
I'm gonna go 2-1 in South Africa's favor.
Okay. Short and sweet from Aditya. Perfect. Okay, guys. I'm gonna go with clean sweep for South Africa, unless there's a rained out game. I'm gonna be optimistic here. I'm gonna say that that Yadaban is just gonna be on his A game, and he's gonna show the guys like, hey, why didn't you pick me for the T20s? Let me show you what I can do again. And that's what's gonna happen. And I'm gonna be optimistic about it and say that South Africa is gonna put in a proper performance. And a professional performance. Hopefully, they're not too affected by everything that's been happening off the field. You guys can go have a look at our interview that we did with Talford Vice, where he gives some excellent insight into what's been happening in the SJNs and what his opinion is on all of those matters and how it can affect South Africa going forward. You can go check that interview out on the channel. And we have a special exclusive interview happening for you guys tomorrow for the Daily Show. So stay tuned to that as well tomorrow. We'll be presenting that to you as well. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. I know Paul has to run off to go work as well, myself too. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll be doing a preview again after the first ODI. And a review after the first ODI and a second and third, etc. That's how we'll be doing it. We'll do a preview before the whole series and then a review after each particular game. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody, and we'll see you guys again very, very soon. Take care.